I mean, we say, how can we make a deal with somebody who chants death to America? We rebuilt, or the U.S. rebuilt Germany, Japan. I mean, they invested American dollars in making sure the world was going to function again after World War II. In ceding that land and in ceding that role, have they just handed it off to the Russias and the Chinas of the world?
Well, that was the peak of globalism, right? I mean, if you think about after World War II, when the United States created the United Nations, and we actually had school children memorizing the charter of the UN back in the 50s and 60s. You'd call kids communists if you did that these days, right? And we rebuilt the Germans and rebuilt the Japanese, the Marshall Plan, General MacArthur. You're absolutely right. That was our view that long-term interests of the United States were well served to support globalism. But you know, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, there was no one in Washington, no one in the United States was arguing, let's do a Marshall Plan for the defeated Soviets, let's help the Russians. Instead, we gave them shock therapy and we said, you guys will figure it out. We'll just expand NATO and expand the EU and you'll deal with it. I mean, that was over 25 years ago. So now let's go forward to 2018 when the global economy is growing at 4%, the U.S. economy is growing at 3%. We've got all this free trade, but the average American feels like all that globalism did nothing for them, and they really oppose it. We've allowed 11 Syrian refugees into the United States so far this year. I could name them. I could put their photographs up. And when I posted that a week ago on social media, half of the Americans responding said, that's 11 too many. That's not a United States with the Statue of Liberty. That's the United States with a lot of people that feel like they've been forgotten, and they're pretty angry about it.
Ian, founder and president of the geopolitical risk firm Eurasia Group.